Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
I really like the new album. Thank you for taking a minute out.
Thank you so much for checking it out.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. I usually wait until I interview to profile it, but I've really enjoyed it. I got it. I'm still old school, so I put it in my CD player. I played it for a while, so I've already profiled it. So it's really an honor to be able to talk about this album with you.
Awesome. Uh, yeah, I recently bought a boombox, like the
Uh-huh.
CD player.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's totally different from like the digital playing.
It
Like,
is.
yeah.
It is. I still remember the first time I got a boombox back in like the early 90s, and I remember getting like a Red Hot Chili Peppers album and a couple others, and you could just feel it come out of it. I mean, the speakers are vibrating. It's a different feeling.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, well, are you where are you located?
I'm in Brooklyn,
Okay.
New York. Yeah.
Okay, my dad was born in Brooklyn back in 55, so I know a lot has changed, but I've never been up there. I would love to see Brooklyn because there's just so many musicians and artists that are up there,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so yeah, let's get into your story. I'm looking forward to getting into the album, and I want to begin with how did this album come about? What was kind of the vision for making this material?
Mm, First of all, I want to let you know that I'll be speaking very slowly because it's not my first language,
Sure.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So my album, um, where should I start?
Actually, just kind of
Yeah.
the sound of it. How did
So,
what was the idea of the ultimate sound of the album, the mood?
I didn't plan on like everything from the beginning,
Yeah.
as if someone makes a movie or something. It
Sure.
was more like a one piece by pieces, compositions. But my current interest was on the like 21st century or 20th century classical music
Yeah.
that are a little far from the tonal harmony, like the like Beethoven type of harmony. It was a little more, a little more atonal, not fully atonal, but like the gesture was there, a little more vague, but then has to have strong harmony, I mean, strong melody to carry that on.
Yeah.
And for instance, Wind Up has a Scriabin harmony based, yeah, that I took the idea from,
Yeah.
and I wanted to build a jazz improvisational form around it, and yeah, I think that's why it sounds a little like dark and melancholy in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to talk fast. I apologize. I'm going to try not to be too fast. So I'm curious, take me back to where you were born and raised, and how did music begin for you?
Yeah. Yeah, good place to start. I don't think you're fast. I can understand everything, and
Sure.
it's just my process is very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. You're doing wonderful.
Okay, thank you. I was born in Korea, Seoul. I started piano because of my mom. She really wanted to learn piano, but her mother didn't let her because back then it was very, expensive to learn piano, and it just didn't make any sense to own a piano and get lessons back then.
Yeah.
And my mom just had that in her mind, and she was like, one day she tends to decide things for me. And when I was younger, it was even more. Now I like fight against her. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm gonna choose my own.
Yeah.
But back then she was like, "Do you want to be a pianist?" And I'm like, "What the hell is pianist? I don't even know what that means."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started. But I think I had a sense of the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kids, have that when you're born, and I could play a favorite of songs melody on the key, even though I didn't know how to play piano or something like that. And that's how it all began. I started classical from then
Yeah.
and till high school. I was pretty serious about it. I did the like concerto with the symphony too, and it was just all classical piano my whole life. And then I switched to jazz because I couldn't see myself really doing the best at it. Because you have to be the best to pursue your classical career in Korea, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then I was had having that thought. Maybe that's not true anymore, but yeah. But thankfully I changed it to jazz. Yeah.
What was that like? Was it refreshing to get into jazz? What was that difference from classical to jazz?
Classical, I think people fed me what to listen, what to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's your choice. You can choose from these pieces, and yeah, yeah. And I had to have ability to choose too. But for jazz, I think I was thrown in this big pool of music, like Pat Metheny, like Hiromi, and like all these like jazz musicians back then. And I got to choose like what I liked and like listen to it on and on. And my teacher would tell me to transcribe some pieces, and then I felt like that's impossible. Like, I don't have any like knowledge at all, but
Yeah.
I still tried. Like on the piano as I was the young girl who started classical, trying to pick the right pitch.
Yeah.
It was just like that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who were some jazz players that you looked up to in the beginning that inspired you?
I really liked few people. One was Pat Metheny. Yeah, I listened to a lot of his albums. Try to remember the album. Do you know the song called Wherever You Go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the one with the Pat Metheny group.
By the way, I live in Lee Summit, Missouri, which is the town that Pat Metheny was born and raised in.
Wow.
So it's funny you mentioned that.
So some people like know him really.
Yeah. Yeah. His brother, Mike, is a flugelhorn player, and he was a jazz journalist for a while, and he still lives there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and the Kansas City scene is really good. There's a lot of clubs, a lot of cats. Just it's a great scene.
I would love to visit and play if I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love it for sure. So, speaking of gigs in America, were you always dreaming of coming to America and pursuing your music?
I just knew that the jazz was from there, and yeah, wanted to learn the learn it. I didn't have much thought to be honest. I
Yeah.
just yeah, just I jumped in. Yeah.
But Brooklyn's like the place, that's where everybody's at.
Yeah, when I was in Boston for schools, I always dreamed coming to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what was the first live jazz show you saw in America that just blew you away? That was wonderful.
I haven't thought about it. For some reason, very beginning of my Berklee year, I saw Patrice Russian. Do you know her?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she could play jazz really well, actually. I was surprised, blown away. She did
Yeah.
like solo piano thing, just totally improvising, but very swinging, and her chops were there. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, I came back home and checked out all her albums.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, what was the stage that you played on when you finally made it to Brooklyn and you just couldn't believe it? You were like, I can't believe I'm playing here. Has there been a moment like that?
So yeah, one moment was like when after writing some of these pieces, I got to play at Lowlands Bar
Yeah.
as a leader, and that was a big moment, I think, because it was my first time having Thomas Morgan on the bass, and it was Vinny Sparrazza on drums, which are, the cats that young people look up to.
Yeah.
And I had like three horn players, like including Kevin's son. So it was a big group with lots of music, music that I newly written, and a lot of people came too.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of curious, like, what does she do?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the first time too, yeah.
Yeah. So the new album is it's deep. It's about life, death. There's a lot going on, and you can feel it. There's a mood that goes into it. What are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
To be honest, I want to open it so people can feel it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my intention for myself was I want to say that I'm constantly fighting for something good that satisfies my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just the only thing I could say about the album. So that's why it's called The Myth of Katabasis. Yeah, I'm going down to the underground
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of metaphor, but yeah, just grabbing what I can and give, like trade off with my time and energy, and yeah.
So you started doing your music in classical. You made the switch to jazz, and that's your career. So my question is, why do you love jazz?
Classical is great. I wish I knew more about music when I was doing classical. Like if I got to choose my repertoire, if I got to, if I was more mature, I would have really loved it.
Yeah.
And I still love classical music so much. I played a Bach, the preludes and fugues like every day, and but I think to be able to have my name on my album that I composed, and to have my friends invite and let them play, and they also give me influence, it just changes everything, right?
Yeah.
Like that uncertainty, and it's just really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And going to see jazz show, it's so fun.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of live jazz, if anyone wants to catch you live, where's the best place? What's going on with you kind of as we get into the holidays and the new year?
Mm. I personally don't have shows yet. I just finished some of my shows
Okay. Okay.
this year, but yeah, I will recommend to go on my website. It's just called hayounglyu.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just write it on the
Okay.
website, yeah, where I play. It's literally just anywhere they call me.
Okay. So if anyone wants to pick up this album, can they go to
Mhm.
Bandcamp? Is that the best place?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay.
other platforms.
Okay. Excellent. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so great to meet you again. I love the album. It's so wonderful to meet you. I hope we see you in Kansas City at some point. That would be great.
Me too. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for this. I love. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice